Okay, so today we're going to start talking about multiplying polynomials. And again, this is review for you. This is something that you have seen before and you should be fairly comfortable with. But I just want to make sure that you kind of have a good review of this. So what we're going to do is I want you to multiply this monomial and polynomial together. And you may have to use your exponent rules. Remember, I mentioned that in the last couple of videos that you may need to use those for the next few days. And so this might be helpful for you. So what we have is we have a 3x, and we're going to multiply it by x, and then we're going to take a 3x and we're going to multiply it by 2, and we're going to add those things together because the 3x is being multiplied by the x, which is being added to the 3x being multiplied by the 2. And so we're going to multiply these things together and these things together and then kind of simplify. So with our exponent rules, we know that if we multiply an x times an x, we're adding those exponents. So that means we're going to bring that together. So that's going to be an x squared. And the 3 and the 1 here, that understood 1, multiplied together is a 3. Okay, so that comes down to this, right? Then over here, there's no variables to multiply together, so it's x times 1, so it's just x. And then these numbers, 3 times 2 becomes a 6. So this gets brought down to be a 6x. And we're just adding those things together. And so what happens is we have a new expression after we multiply these things together. Now I cannot combine these by adding and subtracting, remember from last lesson, because this is different than this. An x squared, if you remember the tiles, is different than an x. I can't add them together. They're different, okay? And so I have to leave them as 3x squared plus 6x. Okay? All right, so then we come to something that's a little bit more challenging. And again, you've seen this before, so some of you might automatically just remember what you're supposed to do with this. But some of you may need a good reminder. So if you remember, x plus 4 being multiplied by x plus 1 means that everything in this set of parentheses has to be multiplied by everything in this set of parentheses. No exceptions. So that means this x has to be multiplied by this x, and then this x also has to be multiplied by this 1. Okay, so that's two parts of it. Then this 4 has to be multiplied by this x, and this 4 has to be multiplied by this 1. And then we have to bring all of that together, okay? So what happens is we use our rules, x times x. Remember, those are exponents of 1, so we add them together to get x squared. And then x times 1, we'll multiply that together to just get 1x, or just x. We simplify that. Then we have this over here, which is a 4 times an x, so that's 4 and x, 4x. And then 4 times 1 is just 4. And so then we simplify it a little bit further because we look and look, I've got an x squared, but then I've got an x, and then I've got 4 more of those x's. So I can combine those together because they're the same. And then I've got 4 of these little x's, and so they can't be combined with anything else. But I can combine this. And so what I get is x squared, and a 4 and 1 of these becomes 5x plus 4. And so totally, when we finish our answer, we end up with an x squared, a 5x, and a 4. And so all that we've done is multiplied all of this together and then simplified it down into a very simple polynomial that's easy to work with, okay? And again, this is all review, but I wanted to make sure that you remembered how to do this. So again, it might be a good idea for you to just give yourself a note, write down how you would solve this, or how you would teach someone in the class to solve it using your own words. So that might help a little bit, okay? All right, so we're going to flip it over. We're going to talk about some of the terms that we need to talk about, some of the methods and examples, and then we're going to move on from there, okay?